Are we on?
Yes, you're on.
All right. Welcome to the first broadcast of the year here for boys soccer on TESPN. The game has just started, but the Titans took the opening kickoff and have a corner kick. I am Rick Hamlin, and I'm joined here by class of 2026, Katie Verdery. Katie, you looking forward to today's game?
Yeah, I am. They seem to be the better team already.
Yeah, Titans definitely off to a good start here in the first minute.
They're off with a lot of possession, so this should be a good game for Trinity.
Let's hope so. Yes, it's a nice day, a little warm, but pretty pleasant. About 85 degrees at kickoff, not too humid, and we've got the visitors from Cristo Ray in all white with blue socks, and the Titans in the white and blue hooped uniforms, brand new uniforms, getting I think worn for the first time today. And they're looking sharp as Hayes Shepard connects that pass to Seth Molesky. A couple of juniors connecting there. And Seth with a left-footed cross that goes out for a goal kick. So Seth, this is his first year playing here for Trinity. He's been playing with Richmond United for the last several years, and so he wasn't able to play high school on the boys' side. But he is playing for the Titans this year, and I think he's making a great impact in the early going. Katie, you also now playing for Richmond United. What's it like, you think, for Seth to make that transition between RU and high school soccer?
It's hard to quit because you don't really ever get quite the same level anywhere else.
Right.
Unless you don't really get the same level. So going to high school, it's more fun. And if he, I don't know what he wants to do, but if he doesn't want to play in college, then it makes more sense to play high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's more fun. You get to meet more people.
Well, there's a great ball by Seth, who we were just talking about, although Colin Flood strayed just offsides there. But it's a really good idea from Seth Molesky, and ball's going to come back out where Flood was offsides. Katie, you may recognize the center referee. I certainly do. He
certainly do recognize
LIS
him.
Girls Championship game back in the spring against Collegiate. Remember him well, which is not always a good thing for a ref.
He's a special person.
Well, he does a good job usually, but we still have a few questions from that day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Cristo Ray with her first sort of sustained possession, and that ball's going to trickle through to goalkeeper Mitchell Kugelman, the senior. Kugelman and Joe Turkley split time and keeper most of last year, and I think so far this year are doing the same. That's a great header. But Flood couldn't quite catch up to it. That was, I think, Oliver Simpson, the sophomore, starting out there with a good header, and it comes right to Oliver, who lays it off for Colin Flood. He's onside this time, and Flood is able to earn another corner kick. So the first corner the Titans had was not highly successful. We'll see if they can get more out of this one. Last year, the Titan boys team had a lot of corner kick goals. It was a real strength. Davis Geis, the center back, is one to watch on these corner kicks. That's a pretty good ball, and right on cue there was Davis getting ahead to it, but this one didn't go the direction that he wanted.
Trinity gets the rebound.
Yeah, and
is that another
it
corner?
Went out for another corner. Indeed, another corner. And Nathan Holloway taking the corners. That's a good ball to the far post. And well saved off the line by Cristo Ray. Seth Molesky kept that one in. He goes down the end line. Good cross. Got to be a goal for Oliver Simpson on the assist by Seth Molesky. And looks like the team has some sort of celebration prepared here. Not sure what we got going here. Our cameraman, Matt Roberts, did you get that celebration? Looks like they need to work on that. I'm not really sure what was going on there. All right, so Titans able to score. We are just about just past 5 minutes into the game, and Trinity gets on the scoreboard first.
They seem to have most of the possession, too.
Yeah, I mean, so this team from Cristo Rey is still pretty young for a varsity team. They only
Yeah.
played a JV schedule last year because they had no juniors or seniors. So I'm pretty sure they still have no seniors on the roster. And this Titans starting lineup has I think six seniors.
Wow.
So it's definitely, it's almost like a U18 team versus like a U15 or 16
Yeah.
team in terms of age. But I think from Cristo Rey's standpoint, you always improve playing against people who are older, more experienced than you. So I think hopefully they'll get a good experience out of it. And from a Trinity standpoint, hopefully it'll be a nice chance to extend their winning streak. And there's Oliver Simpson again with his second goal in the first 6 minutes or so.
Yeah. Wow.
And we have another Titan girls soccer player who's just joined us, Kat Pope, also class of 2026. Kat, good to have you here with us up here.
It's great to be here. Really excited.
All
Yeah.
right, glad to see you. So Titans have already put 2 on the board, and Oliver Simpson, the sophomore, with both goals. And it's interesting. As of probably August 1st, it looked like Oliver was probably going to be a JV player this year, but with some of the older guys, some of the older guys that didn't come back, it opened up a spot, and he's really seized it. And credit to him. I mean, he's now starting, and those 2 goals have probably put him up there tied with the leading scorer on the team in the early going here this season.
Is he playing center forward? Kind of looks like him and Colin.
The new
both
jerseys are cool.
Yeah, I know.
I know Colin is.
Yeah, so I think at least as of last week, I know that Trinity was playing a 4-4-2, so it
Yeah, I
may be
think it's him and Colin.
maybe Flood and Simpson as the 2 forwards.
Yeah.
And what I was about to say is these boys have been off to a great start this season. So they went to Woodbury Forest, played 2 games over the weekend against Christchurch and got a 2-1 win, and then Woodbury on their home field, and Trinity won 2-0. So those are both really good
Great
teams.
turn.
That is a nice job by
Yes,
Hayes
Hayes Shepherd.
Shepherd, yeah. And
Great shot.
Nice.
Colin Flood makes it 3. And you can tell this is going to be all Titans today, it looks
Yeah.
like. But, one thing to also watch for is in a game like this where they scored 3 goals in the first 8 minutes, I know from a coach's standpoint, a lot of times these are games that you want to really get people playing time that don't play a ton, like from your
Yeah.
bench.
Mhm.
But with the injuries that Trinity has, I think they only have like 14 healthy players.
Oh,
So
Wow. Yeah.
so even the starters, like even if they take some of them out, it's not like they can do a full
They can't take
line
out
change.
the full roster.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's several injuries. Ben
It's-
Gravely's out, and I think I'm trying to remember who else is out.
Yeah, he
There's-
got a concussion in the Woodbury game, right?
Yeah. That's a good ball there, and
Do you think?
nice idea. Comes out to the back post to Flood, and Ben Mills with a
Ben
goal.
Mills.
Nice assist by Flood, and that makes it 4.
That's
Not about 9 minutes
4.
in. So again, trying to look at. Oh, I know the other one who's out is Kenan Muminovic is out for at least 2 weeks as well, with
Oh.
a illness.
They have any sophomores?
So that's the 2 sophomores, right?
So that's and Oliver Simpson's a sophomore.
Oh yeah, he's playing really.
What
Yeah.
number is he?
He's number
5.
5. He got the first 2 goals. And actually, Matthias Rusi with that header there, also a
Oh,
sophomore.
yeah.
So
Yes.
That was
we've
a
got
good header.
Yeah, it was a great header. Matthias, for fans who watched our streams last year will know, like, I'm a big fan of Matthias's game. He's very fast, very aggressive. Coach Phillips said he predicts that before he graduates, he may set the record for yellow cards. Like, not from, like, just he just
He's an aggressive.
He's an aggressive
He's an
player,
aggressive
and
player,
he's
yeah.
not. You're not going by him. Like, if you get a half step on him, you're going to the ground.
That's a good player to have a center back too. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like the last line of defense. So.
Exactly, Kat. You should know.
I know.
That's like Kat. Kat
Uh,
is like Matthias.
Yeah, except he's a little faster, but
Wow.
but she's just as tough. That's for sure.
Tough as nails.
Actually, I mean, Matthias, like, probably the thing he needs to maybe improve the most is like his technical skills. Where I
Yeah.
think Kat is really strong there. Matthias also is very left-footed.
I'm very right-footed.
Yeah. All right, so here's Hayes Shepard's got a lot of time and space here in the middle. It's a good-looking ball over the top, looking for Nathan Holloway, but keeper's able to read that well and scoop it up. And it looks like Coach Phillips is readying a few subs. Nice job by Hayes winning that header.
That
And
was a good pass.
Jack Fannin, I think looks like Jack Cranston and Roman Gamino are getting prepared. Roman is another sophomore, so they actually have a pretty good core of sophomores, which is good for the future.
Yeah.
But here's Liam Smith, a senior, with a big switch of play all the way to Matthias.
Whoa.
There he is, showing off that
Good
speed
hustle.
I was
that's
talking
very good
about.
pass.
He's really fast, and he shows off that left foot I was talking about. And it's a little too much on the left foot there as he knocked that over everybody. All right.
These are the types of game to take advantage of. If you're up by a lot, you can really like connect as a team. And
Yeah,
just
and I
learn
know
Work
everything
on
about each other.
possession.
Yeah.
exactly. I know Coach
That's a
Phillips
struggle.
is one who, I mean, he's not going to want to run up the score. So if it is a chance to like have a good lead, like you've seen them build early, I think he'll have something very specific to work on, like connecting a certain number of passes. Seth Molesky, though, is going to try and add to the lead, and he does.
He does.
Amazing goal by Seth.
It's a nice shot by Seth.
Yeah.
And it's a tough spot to be in if you're Cristo Ray. I mean, we're now
Yeah.
about 12 minutes in, 5 goals on the scoreboard for the Titans, and Cristo Ray's only got, looks like, 2 subs. And even though it's not as quite as humid as it's been, it's still pretty warm out
Yeah.
there, and we've still got 67 minutes to play. Keeper and center back look like they may have run into each other there. Keeper still has his hands on his knees, so certainly hope that there's no injuries, because with the thin bench, it would be tough. And our official seems to be talking to one of the players for the Eagles, making sure that he's okay.
I just think if you're Cristo Ray right now, you just need to keep your head in this and work as a team, even though you might not get the result you want.
Maybe
Yeah.
play more defensive.
Yeah, and just
Kind of load it.
Learn
and
from the
keep
game.
it lower.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're, as the season progresses, going to play some teams that aren't to the level. Like this Titan team, I mean, they think they're contenders at the state level.
they
Yeah,
are.
very
lot
talented
of
team.
talent. So, as a coach, I mean, I love to have play some tough teams early, because that's what's going to expose your weaknesses. So I think long term, a game like this is going to help. I think I called them the Eagles. That was my bad. It's the Royals of Cristo Ray. Royals. And I took French, but I think, doesn't Ray mean king in Spanish? Yeah.
Spanish.
So king,
I don't know.
kings are royals, like
Yeah.
Ro-
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Thanks to our trusty cameraman, Matthew Roberts, teaching me some Spanish up here while we watch the game.
Another Trinity corner.
And yeah, they're going
A
short this time.
Corner.
Don't think that the Royals
Not
were
much
quite
pressure.
switched on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really pretty ball to the back post.
Saved by the
Ben
keeper.
Mills got a
there.
good head to it, but a nice save by the keeper. I think that was Oliver Simpson again playing that ball. Oliver's
Oliver's
really
playing amazing.
He's had a
Yeah.
really good start to
Him
this
and
game.
Matthias are both. The sophomore
Yeah.
class seems to be really good.
Yeah,
Representing
for
today.
sure. No, like I said, if you're just joining us, so I'm Coach Hamlin. I'm coaching the JV boys this year, and I was kind of excited to coach Oliver, thinking that that's where he would be, but he's clearly shown that he belongs here on the varsity team, and really proud of him. He was out a lot this summer at pickup, and you've just seen a lot of improvement, even just from about July. As we sit here still just in August, he looks like a much more confident player than he was this summer. And as a coach, like, that's just what you love to see, seeing someone grow in confidence. And for you, Katie, and for Kat, as players who were, in your first year of high school soccer last year, I mean, I know you all have played club at a pretty high level, but it's still pressure when you're a first-year player.
Yeah, it's hard to be as confident
Yeah.
when you're like a younger player.
Yeah, and I felt like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but for both of you, I felt like as your season progressed for the girls team in the spring, your confidence grew a lot, seemed to
Yeah,
grow a lot.
definitely.
Definitely.
both on the field, but even off the field in terms of like interactions with teammates or feeling, you could speak up at halftime or
Yeah.
things like that.
I agree.
Oliver
And he's
on a hat trick passes it off. That's a
good
Amazing
shot.
goal.
good shot near post by Nathan Holloway, and Oliver Simpson has the assist, so he's already got 2
He's playing
goals
amazing.
and at least 1 assist.
Yeah.
And the Titans are bringing on some subs here. Jack Fannin and Jack Cranston are coming in, as well as Roman Gamino. Looks like Seth Molesky out, as well as Hayes Shepard.
Is Jack Fannin, is he in like a 6? That's what it looks
Yeah, and that's where he's been playing this season. And last year, I don't know how many of the boys' games y'all saw last year, but Fannin.
He was outside, right?
He played on
Yeah.
the wing. Last year they played more of a 4-3-3, and he was usually out on the right wing. So this year he's playing in the center, which I think is great because, like, technically he's really strong.
Yes.
He's a really good passer of the ball. He's got good vision.
And I remember him being pretty aggressive too.
At pickup, he was really strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like physically strong.
And he
Yeah,
knows
and
what he wants to do with the ball, so I think midfield's a good spot
for sure.
him.
He's
Makes really
worked-
good choices.
good move.
He does, and Jack
Like quick
Fannin,
choices.
he's worked really hard in the weight room.
Yeah.
I mean, I coached him when he was a 9th grader on JV, and he was very thin and kind of shied away from physical contact. But he's just a good example of how getting stronger gives you that physical confidence translates into mental confidence. And as someone, like, I'm up at this campus a lot on evenings and weekends because I live close. I like to go for runs and stuff. And the amount of times I see Jack Fannin up here, either by himself or with Colin Flood, like, working against the wall, working on his shooting. He's a very, very committed player.
He's like a really perfect balance of power and technical skill, which a lot of people only really have one, and then another one's a weakness.
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure.
And so his skill.
This
plus
team is
his,
just, like, filled
speed and
with, like,
power.
Really hard workers and just
Yeah.
want to do great.
It is, and I think we're all really optimistic and excited for this season. Speaking of interesting, you guys talked about Jack playing in the middle of the field, and I was actually just trying to think to myself, like, who from last year's team, like, whose spot was he kind of moving into? And right when I was thinking
Howie.
about it, well, it's Griffin Wright, who just
Oh.
texted me. Griffin, of course, was an amazing TESPN broadcaster last year.
Was.
He announced pretty much all the girls' games that we streamed, and Griffin on the podcast. So shout out G at High Point University is watching us today, and you are missed for sure, my man. But I don't think they need you today, though.
So I don't even think we can compare to Griffin Wright with this.
What's
He's
that?
very
We're
good
the
at
new
it.
Griffin Wright.
Yeah, we're not as good at it.
It takes time. It takes time.
Senior
but
year.
Yeah.
The thing about Griffin on the field is nobody had a motor like that guy. Like, he went full speed all the time, and even on a hot day like today, you'd be like, you think he'd need a sub, but he could just never got tired.
I know one thing about Griffin. He always won those 50-50 balls.
Oh my gosh.
Always.
First to everything.
Right. If you watched our broadcast last year, whenever there's a 50-50 ball, as it was happening, I'd be like, guarantee Griffin wins it.
Yep.
Guarantee Griffin wins it. And he did. Like, I could bet the house on it.
Amazing ball by Matthias.
That is a great ball by Matthias.
Good hustle to get there.
Perfect.
Yeah, Roman Gamino did a nice job running it down. Ben Mills with the header. But that's good stuff. I mean, that's good, like, almost straight off the training ground.
That was a good run by Ben.
Ben
He
seems
knew where to be.
to be pretty good in the air. He's had a
Yeah.
lot of headers.
Yes.
Yeah, he's another guy who's always up here working on his game. Of course, Ben's dad, John Mills, one of our coaches, and he's been a huge asset to the boys coaching staff. And also, I was going to point out, like, that ball from Matthias to Roman to Ben, that's like that crossing drill we often do
Yeah,
with the
it
girls
is.
of, like, play it from the middle out to the
Mhm.
left, get runners in the middle, and it almost worked just like the drill is intended. So during this goal kick, I do want to give a shout out to our whole, because also not just goal kick, but it looks like they're taking a water break here as we're at the midpoint of the first half, and this is something for safety they've added here to the last few. We never used to do this, but I like it. Where
Yeah, I like them a
on
lot.
days
Yeah.
when it's, I don't know the exact temperature but I think if both coaches decide it's hot, we don't have a ton of subs, they'll take a water break at the midway point of each half, which is great. So while they're taking that break, I wanted to give a shout out to everyone on the TESPN crew here today. Up here in the booth with us, we've got 9th grader Matthew Roberts, who's working the camera, and we may hear his voice on the broadcast some on future games. We've got 9th grader Katie Verdery, who you've heard from. I introduced her at the beginning, who's a great player from our girls team, started as an 8th grader, and looking for even bigger things from her this year. Then we've got another 9th grader, Kat Pope, also starter as an 8th grader, and going to have an awesome season, I know, for the girls. And these guys are doing a great job, both of their first time doing this. And then we've got a first-time producer, another 9th grader, Reese Blanchard. So shout out to Reese, who's keeping the graphics going for us today. And we got another 9th grader, Jack Stark, up here, just kind of being the gopher, being ready to help as needed. So we got 5 freshmen and an old man up here in the booth. And also shout out to Colin Edsel and Coach Tyree, who helped get everything set up before the game. So we're having fun with it. And while we have the chance, for any viewers who are out there right now, also want to remind you we will be broadcasting Friday's boys soccer game. That's against Cape Henry, who for 4 straight years has played in the boys state championship game. They won it 3 years in a row, and then last year they did lose in the championship to Collegiate. But Cape Henry is a powerhouse program out of Virginia Beach, so that's going to be
quite a turnaround from today.
Yeah, definitely a different type of a challenge for sure. But I think that these guys have done everything they can to prepare this early season. So they've had, let's see, the alumni game, they played an adult team, they've scrimmaged the FC team, they scrimmaged Stewart. So I think this boys soccer team here at Trinity had 4 scrimmages, and they've already played 2 games. It's already their 3rd game, and we're not even out of August yet, which I think a lot of
that helps a lot.
Yeah, it does, because I think a lot of private school, of course, in Virginia, public school boys soccer is in the spring, like the girls, but private schools all play in the fall, and I don't think most teams have even played a game yet. They maybe had maybe 1 scrimmage. But today is August 31st, and I mean, these guys started practice back at the beginning of August, so they're kind of a full month into the season. And you can really see even the fitness levels. I mean, I know today hasn't presented the hugest challenge, but they look like they're moving just as well.
They look like they play really well together.
They do.
They don't look like individual players.
The
It
chemistry
looks
looks
like
good
a
between
team.
them. Yes, I agree.
It doesn't just look like a bunch of skilled players. It looks like a skilled team.
I would agree with that, and I know I didn't get to see their games at Woodbury over the weekend, but several of the players mentioned to me, even including some players who've been on the team for several years, they felt like the passing that they have right now is the best they've ever
The
had.
passing looks
And I
pretty
could definitely
far
hear them talking.
above,
Yeah.
like a team that has only been practicing for a month.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, adding Seth Molesky into the mix, who's
He's
a very skilled
incredible.
player.
Just like a sister.
Yeah, his sister's also an incredible player.
Yes,
the girls' team.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Cece is one of our best players on the girls' team, and has started ever since she's been here, and she may be joining for Friday's broadcast at least part of the time as well. So hopefully we'll see, or our viewers will hear Cece soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you guys know, that was kind of the whole difference in our season from the girls' standpoint last year, of when Cece missed
When
several
Cece was
games,
out,
it was a little rough.
It was a
and-
challenge.
And when she came back,
Huge challenge.
everything seemed to really click. So
Yeah.
um,
Kind of like the
She's-
glue of the team.
She's an
yeah,
And
a very strong
she's
center
definitely going to
back.
be one of
the
the
player
stronger
you
ones
don't want
this
to play
year.
versus.
Because
Yes.
You always want her on your team.
we did
Yeah.
lose Allie and Dakota, so Cece's
Yeah.
going to, I think, really step up in a good way.
Yeah.
Just
agree.
hold the team together, really.
Yeah, I was saying to somebody, season can't get here fast enough. I'm very, very excited.
I am too.
I heard Reese might play this year.
I think she should.
Yeah. All right, so the game is about to restart. Remember, it was a Cristo Ray goal kick. I got to take my memory back before this water break. I actually forgot. Was it maybe, I think it might have been Ben Mills took a shot right before that went just wide that led to this corner kick. And does look like, and I sort of expected this. I don't want to say it out loud in case they didn't do it, but it looks like Coach
4-4.
Phillips has decided to, well, in 4-4-2 because we have less than 10 field players, which I think is smart. I think we've only got, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 field players. We're playing
Oh,
8v11 right now, which is, it's a good way to get something out of
Challenge
the game.
them.
Yeah, challenge them a little bit.
Make faster choices.
Right. I mean, with a 6-goal
They're
lead,
outnumbered.
you're
Yeah.
I mean, the result is settled, so might as well challenge yourself. Also, for the guys on the field, like, it's more fun, I would say, to play like 8v11 because you
it's
Yeah.
more
have to
even.
play hard. Yeah, and they still are able to earn
to
a corner.
hustle more.
All right, looks like Nathan Holloway setting up for another corner kick here.
He takes amazing corners. They're very
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
I mean, that was pretty good.
That
Yeah.
went through.
that one
good.
was not maybe as
It
good as
wasn't
some
as
of his
high
others.
as the other ones, but it worked.
Yeah,
I think he knows where he wants to place it.
Yeah.
Like, that's
And they don't
A good
seem too
part.
like powerful, like
yeah. Well,
where it's
and
like hard to get a head on it or hard
Exactly.
to time it.
I
They
know
seem pretty like lofted.
Katie,
in a good way.
I can't remember if you took any in games because pretty much Allie was on
yeah.
corner kick duty, but I know at least in practice you took some. And here, like, this field is a little narrower than a lot of
Yeah,
fields.
it is.
So it actually is a different type of a challenge because you have to take a little bit off the corner
Yeah.
or else you sail it over everybody. And if you're used to playing on a super wide field,
Yeah, because
it's a different-
my games are at West Creek, which is like
Yeah.
the widest field
right,
ever.
exactly. So you have to
I have to
make that
adjust,
adjustment.
Yeah.
So there's Oliver Simpson again, who has been great so far. Reed Bacon back to Matthias Rusi. So, yeah, it looks kind of like a 3-3-1 is kind of the formation. But even that, like, looks like a small thing, but Matthias using his right foot there, like, that's great to see because last
Yeah.
year he was
Mhm.
purely left-footed. And so that
And that-
already to me shows growth
And that's
in his
good
game.
in a game like this when if he had like missed it or made a bad pass, it wouldn't have really
yeah. These are the type of
affected
games
any
that you want to
result.
test yourself and
Yeah.
see how what
Exactly.
you can.
And then when he
Can't
can
do
do
it.
it good in this game, then he'll do it versus
Exactly.
Cape Henry.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. It's a good throw in for Cristo Ray, but again, there's Matthias using his right foot, and Titans working on that possession. Good. That's
Good
some
pass
really,
to
really
Jack
nice passing.
Fannin.
Oh, that's
Oh,
It's a
that's
great
amazing
ball.
run.
it is a great ball. Nathan Holloway
Oh,
just
just
wide.
wide. But that was a beautiful setup. I
Yes.
mean, that went, I think, Matthias to Reed Bacon to Jack Fannin. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, to Jack Fannin, to Roma Gamino, back to Jack, and then through to Nathan. Sometimes when you do like possession in practice, you might say like, all right, we want to complete 5 passes in a row, or
Yeah.
that's what they just did.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
And Colin Flood goes in what looks like outside back.
yeah, that is not a position that
Yeah,
Colin
he
is
seems more
used to
he plays
playing,
forward,
but yeah, they got Colin out at right back, but that's good for him. I mean,
It's fun to like play different positions.
for sure. Yeah,
especially when like it's not like a result at risk.
yeah. Well, Colin, like even that run he made there, like he knew exactly what to do, even though it's not maybe his natural position. He came and
Mhm.
showed for Matthias. It's another good ball
Another good ball.
by
A good run too.
I think Reed Bacon.
Is it off?
Yeah, the AR's calling offsides there. Matthew, our cameraman, confirming that he was indeed offsides.
Jack Fannin seems to be like really calm on the ball, which is I think is
Yeah.
like necessary in defensive mid because
He
you're under
is.
quite a lot
Yeah,
of pressure.
He definitely.
It's good to see him out on the pitch too, because at one of the I actually think it was I can't remember if it was the alumni game or the last time we had pickup, but he hurt his ankle, and he missed several weeks. So
Mhm.
it's good to have him back out there. I mean, this is his senior year. He's put so much into it, and I just so desperately for him want him to have a healthy season,
Mhm.
because I think if he
Yeah,
does, he
definitely.
could have
He
a
looks
big time
he
year.
looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if he's like not 100% right now, like he looks, I wouldn't honestly tell that he was injured.
No, exactly. And his, like you said, I think when you use the word composure on the ball, he just never seems rushed. He just gets his head up. I mean, and like to his, again, speaking about how much he's improved. I mean, when he was a freshman, he didn't even start on JV, and here he is. Like, he has a chance, I think, to maybe potentially push to be an all-league player this year.
Definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. He's
Of all the seniors, like his growth from 9th grade to the present is probably the most. Although, gosh, if you really think about it, also like Ben Mills, Reed Bacon. I mean, there's a bunch of them who've come so far, and then Colin Flood, Davis Geis, Nathan Holloway. I mean, those guys have been on
yeah. They
varsity
seem to
since
have a
their
really
freshman
good
year.
senior class.
It's a very strong class for sure. So for me as the JV coach, like what I tell the JV guys every day is,
They could
we-
be
like we got, I don't know the exact number, but 7 or 8 key seniors. So I'm like, you guys have to be ready
Ready
to
to
be
step up.
starters, potentially, or at a minimum, like play significant role next year.
And these seniors,
And-
they
oh,
have a
there's
great work ethic.
They do. Sorry, I forgot because he hasn't got much action today. But Mitchell Kugelman in goal is another senior who was
moved by college.
as a 9th grader, didn't even start on JV, and now he's a starting varsity keeper. So I'm glad I noticed that because at JV practice tomorrow, I'm going to point out to those guys how, like, with hard work, you can really move up within the program. And by the time you're a senior, here you are as a starter on a team that probably is a
win
top 5 team on the boys' side. Or has a chance to be, certainly. Optimism is very high, especially after winning that tournament at Woodbury.
That's like a great start to the season. It's a confidence booster.
Yeah, for sure. And also the team bonding aspect. They spent the night up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always good.
Yeah.
because-
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm hoping we can do. For years, we always did overnight trips for the girls' team and went to different tournaments, which is so fun for the bonding. But we weren't able to do that last year or the year before because COVID. So hopefully we can find something like that. Because I just think those, you guys have played travel. You've gone.
Yeah, the closer the team, the better the
Yeah,
team.
like
Yeah.
the hotel is honestly the best part of the tournament. Like hanging with your
Yeah.
team and
Yeah.
just like getting close with everybody.
Yeah.
Especially in high school when everyone's different ages. It can,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
harder
then
to all, like,
Everybody goes to different schools.
Yeah.
And just,
everyone came from different places.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a
everyone's
different time in their
ages.
life.
Good save there by Colin Flood. I think he's on. Roman Gamino is in on goal. He's one of these sophomores we've been talking about.
It's a little outside of the foot.
Oh.
He finished
that
it,
looked
yeah,
like it, yeah.
outside of the right foot. And Roman Gamino makes it 7. And again, we've been talking a lot about him, but that was Jack Fannin with the field vision to see the switch and hit Roman.
Yeah, you could see as soon as Jack Finnan gets the ball, he picks his head up and is scanning the field on where
He always
he
makes
wants
really
to
good,
go.
really fast decisions,
Yeah.
which is really
Yeah.
good for a
And very
center
effective.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just playing it and hoping someone runs onto it. He knows what he's going to do.
And
gonna
another thing I point out about Roman there is, like, he at least last year, and I think when he's played club, like he's a center back, so he finished that like with the composure of
Yeah.
a striker.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
he
I
didn't
wouldn't
seem
tell.
rushed. He took his time, connected with the far post.
This whole team just seems very versatile and can just kind of play wherever Phillips wants them to and is happy about it.
Yeah, and that's such an asset as a player, and even like you get to be older like I am, and like if I go play pickup soccer, I can go on the field and be like, I'll play wherever you want.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
not. I don't feel any.
They all seem really well-rounded.
Yeah, except
Yeah.
goalie.
Yeah.
Don't-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't playing goalie, but like having played a lot of positions, like I just think that you can see and read the game from different places, and it also ends up making you a smarter player. So like Katie, I know you had mentioned to me you played some defense last
Yeah, I
weekend, which I
did.
know is not your preference, but I do think long term it's still good
It's
for your
good to
development.
know how to
'cause,
defend.
yeah, you
properly
know what those defenders go through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you'll be doing it out here, but
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm good at it,
Well,
but at least I tried it.
yeah, but you see the field from a different spot, which I still think has
Yes.
benefit. And there's another through ball.
Yeah, it is nice seeing a different perspective, not always being the one like scoring, but being
Yeah.
the one like setting people up to score
And I know you've mostly played like as a striker and
as a wing a lot.
or a wing. But what I was gonna say is usually most of the time the ball's behind you.
Yeah.
when you as a winger, as a striker. But when you play defense, usually the ball's in front of you, and it's a different view. It's
Yeah, and I never realized how much I didn't know about defense. Like I didn't know how to stay connected,
Yeah.
like how to have the back line connected. I didn't know that was the thing.
right, but that's a good thing for you.
But it's
like
a good thing to know.
yeah, because also when you notice your opponents, like if they're disconnected, you can
Yeah.
you're like now that you're like, oh, I can take advantage of this.
And I kind of saw like their forwards and when I'd get beat, and
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's what I need to do
Right,
when
right,
I go
right.
back.
All right, throw in here for the Royals. And Colin Flood gonna go back and keep possession, and Seth Molesky, I'm not sure that's exactly what he was trying to do, but there goes Oliver Simpson again controlling things.
Jeff
Seth Molesky's in the
Shannon
same
with
position
another
as his
great
sister.
ball.
That is a great ball, and that was, I want to point out, that was Jack's left foot. All right,
Good
Roman,
idea.
Roman,
Right over.
that shot was more like the shot of the center back.
Yeah.
That did not look quite as good as his last shot.
Kat had a shot a lot like that.
Okay.
It's okay, me too.
Kat, how many goals you scored last year?
I think one, if any. I feel like I remember scoring one at like St. Gertrude's or something.
I've got the stats on my phone. Well, you know what you're going to do this year is, I think, score off a corner kick.
I wanted to get in the corners, but
Get in there and get a header.
no, I was just staying
Who's
back
gonna take
mostly.
them this year? Because I volunteer.
We'll see. We'll see. It's
Okay.
tryouts for that.
Tryouts.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you did score, but that wasn't your job for last year. So,
Thankfully, my shots aren't very good.
all right. So we've got some subs coming on here for the Royals. Titans still playing with 8. Mitchell Kugelman is looking a little bored back in the goal.
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard for goalies when you don't get to do much.
it really is.
Yeah.
And it looks like, again, the Titans just content to try and possess the ball.
Good
Good
switch.
switch.
Great switch by Hayes Shepard. What a ball.
Jack Fannin, he always stands side on, which is
Yeah.
an amazing skill because then you can see a lot more.
Yeah.
Which
And one
is-
of his habits
Ooh.
that's a really good habit is checking his shoulder.
Yeah.
He
he always knows what's going on everywhere.
Yeah, I was just reading, actually sent an article to all the other coaches. This article I read a couple nights ago about scanning, and
Yeah.
it was really, that's kind of a next level skill that I think a lot of high school players don't realize, but
And it's really important for midfield, which
Yeah.
is where he's playing.
yeah.
now.
Kevin De Bruyne from Manchester City is the best, like, in the world. He's, like, they actually track now how many scans these guys do, like, per minute.
Oh,
It's,
wow.
Just like a great habit to have, even if
Yeah.
you're not going to get the ball.
And, like, De Bruyne, his is like he's just, it's like playing chess. Like, he's always a move ahead.
Yeah.
Good ball out there by Seth Molesky.
Good idea.
So, you guys have probably played in games like this where you have a big lead,
Yeah.
and you maybe also, I mean, we probably if you play long
Probably
enough, you'll all be
yeah.
on the receiving end of a game like this too,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be hard. It can be hard to because you don't want to be lazy, but you
Yeah, sometimes you kind of give up after, which
yeah
I have it, teams have in the past that I've been on.
yeah, and I
It's
think
kind of like you just feel done.
I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of respect for Cristo, right? Because they are still going. The game just started. They still want it.
yeah, I agree. I think that I mean, obviously the Titans dominating possession. They're, as we've discussed, a more experienced team, a a more talented team, but I do feel like Cristo Rey is still playing hard, and I also think Trinity, like, they're doing it the right way. It's not just they're working
Yeah,
on
they're
things.
not just working up the
Mhm. They're not just scoring to score.
they're
Yeah,
not just running
yeah.
up
They're
the
doing it with a
scoreboard.
purpose.
Yeah, working on possession, working on getting guys involved, go backwards to go forwards. Like we talked about, getting people some opportunities in different positions.
And everything is very intentional from Trinity.
Tighten value, intentional. Oh, that's a nice touch by number 15 for the Royals, but
Steal by
Fannin does well to steal it.
Jackson.
One thing I do think Cristo Rey is having a little bit of struggle with is, like, they're trying really hard to pull an offside trap, but it's a lot of times one guy is holding people on, which is why
Yeah.
the Titans have had a lot of
Mhm.
breakaways. Like, they're trying to compress the field.
And Trinity's also, they seem smart in that they've realized it and they're obviously adjusting.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a nice dummy by Hayes Shepard. Hayes looks really confident right now.
Yeah.
Just looks
I think
like,
he's definitely gonna be one of their standout players this
yeah,
year.
for sure. Good job again by Fannin. He's so far, I feel like he's won every 50-50 ball. He did
Shoe comes
just get his foot stepped
off.
on, but good sportsmanship by number 15 for Cristo Rey. It's like, my bad, dude.
Oh.
And now Fannin's playing with one shoe, and
he's still playing good.
A great
Yeah.
ball.
Great ball.
All right, so Seth Molesky's got plenty of times. Looks for the big switch to Roman Gamino.
Good defense. Way to hustle back.
Yeah, well defended by Cristo Rey.
It's really challenging Trinity's forwards because
Yeah.
they seem that they've shifted to a more defensive.
Yeah, and also, I mean, they were playing with only 7 field players.
Yeah.
So
So it's for the forwards, it's like a 1v4.
all right, we are about 2 minutes till halftime. For those watching at home, I think during that water break, I think we kept our clock rolling, but I think they stopped the official clock. So soccer fans will know that it's always a little bit of a mystery how much time is left
Yeah.
in a half or a game. Drives my wife crazy when I watch soccer. And she's like, what is this stoppage time? But not much time left in this half. I just see the referee look at his watch. Flood
Good ball.
with a big ball. I mean, he's on. I don't know about that. I thought Roman stayed on his side of midfield, but I think that is going to do it for the first half. So Titans
Great
with 7 in the first half. We are going to take a short break, and we will be back to continue our coverage here in the second half. But our halftime score, Trinity Episcopal 7 and Cristo Rey 0. Back soon.
But I think we got into a good rhythm. It's distracting if you are watching for multiple people are saying what's happening. But then when you guys feel like you're it's what they would call in broadcasting analysis, and that is spot on. So you guys are doing really well. I think honestly better than I expected.
Wow.
No, I don't know. I mean, in some ways, this is actually a really hard game. The game's so close, it's almost good. This is like, I doubt that many people are watching because the game is super boring, but that's good. It's Friday, I'm home watching. Nice. But like this is good, almost like dress rehearsal, you know?
Yeah.
You won't. Okay. We'll got. You can. You know. You see what she's doing.
Been taking notes.
I mean, the good thing is once it's set up, it's easy. The hard part is the setup. But I think Tyree is one of the players who, like, I think he knows how to do all that. But yeah, Jack, come on Friday. It's not the easiest, you know. But yeah, we're good. I think Friday we're gonna have like because Gabe Henry, like they don't have football, so like soccer's the big sport there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game.
It's a hard game to, but it's also good practice. 'Cause I was just saying to them like that Gabe Henry and Friday, like they'll have a lot to watch. 'Cause they don't have football. Like soccer, like my brother and Julie, like they support soccer. Like that's their biggest thing. So I think they'll have a lot of this. Exactly.
Is that all the BHSC people on this?
Yeah.
Not really anywhere else.
My guy brother, he's a baseball player that is like he's an athlete. So he doesn't play club soccer, but he's the starting keeper. But yeah, like so they did really good, but their two best players were seniors last year. They both signed D1. Like one was at ODU, other one's at I forget, but they both went D1. So they lost those two guys. Yeah, I think we should win, but it'll be a challenge.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game.
Keon is actually that's a pretty big injury. He's one of our better. Like he's a good center back.
He's really good.
Is that my order? I think so. Okay, it's right there. Yeah. Reese, do you play a spring sport?
What's the
This is the fall.
No.
Have you played soccer?
Yeah, who's on my team?
I played FC Metro with Cat for like
And like we were like little.
So why wouldn't you?
we were like
Yeah.
I played rec and then got moved up. I played for like 3 years and then I quit mid-season and did like I played for my school, but it was a middle school team, so we weren't that good. And then I just kind of like lost all my confidence because I
What was your middle school name?
Sabbath. That's right.
Oh, you would have stopped. Gotcha. Well, yeah, I mean, like, if you play, like, when did you stop playing travel? Like 6th grade? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could, like, I'm not saying you might not start, but like, you probably have played more than some people have.
And you're like a good athlete, so I mean, you'll get that.
It's definitely helping with field hockey right now. Like, I feel like I'm playing soccer
Well,
now.
I heard, so I actually was at the football game on Saturday. I was like at this tailgate with a bunch of field hockey parents, and like Miss Sneed came over and your dad was there. And like Miss Sneed, I mean, was saying like very positive things about you, and like how hard you've been working and having a great attitude and stuff. So yeah, I think you should. Like, there's no harm in trying. You play a winter sport, so you could come out and you come out to some of the pickup stuff in the winter. And like, if you're terrible, I'll just be like, actually, don't worry about it. And if you're like decent, I'll be like, you should play. Like, if it would be a waste of your time, I don't think you do that. But if you played for Metro until like 5th grade, like you would pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah, I feel like I forgot.
Yeah. Just like we should have I think a very strong start in like 11 or 12, but then I'm worried about depth.
I'm worried about midfield. Oh
Yeah.
god, I got moved to midfield.
You might.
I actually really like it now. Like
You
I
also play center back.
like I play defensive mid. You can.
Maddie.
Wait, is the Friday game for JV?
No, varsity.
When is our first game?
What's that? Tuesday.
After you left, I was so happy. I actually pretty good. I got really good. I played defensive end. I'm like, I think I'm pretty good. I don't know. I actually really like it. I feel like it's like my best choice. Because I wasn't loving center back, and then I kind of like outside back. But I think defensive end is like what
I started playing it for kickers because I take corners.
my confidence needs to be better.
I was better. I was like nobody else on my team that could shoot from like outside the box.
Right.
So I kind of was up there.
Yeah, you're good at that. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But I could, you know, I'm hoping that. I mean, with CC, obviously she's great. That like, I kind of feel like Maddie could do it because Maddie. I mean, technically she's really better than Olivia, and if with CC there, like her speed isn't the greatest, but I feel like she could. With CC behind her, like
Yeah.
okay. She's got good poise. She strikes the ball
She's
well.
good at
And then like V and Logan as outside backs, or I don't know. I thought Logan wanted to be like an attacking mid, but Mary is a beast.
She can play anywhere.
Yeah. And so in field hockey, she plays center mid.
She's so fast.
She actually probably came to more pickup than anyone this summer. She's there every time, which is weird because it's like not even her primary sport. But she improved a lot at soccer this summer.
Yeah. I'm also really glad she committed.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. If you haven't, go ahead and put it away.
She was like thinking about not playing.
What did you just say?
Okay, American was like thinking about not doing it because she didn't want to do the recruiting process if she got injured when she committed. So now she can stay play.
Yeah, she's
really happy about that.
I know, like there was.
She also committed to like an insane school. That's like number 7.
Yeah,
And they were in the
national
national
championship last
championship
year.
last year.
Yeah, there was. I think her telling me that she was like wasn't gonna play, but I talked to her directly. She's like, of course I'm gonna play.
Yeah. That's what she was like made a comment about it, but then she committed. And I think she
Also, I'm talking to now that I'm finishing that, I'm talking to all the younger girls.
They came to one of her games to like see her.
Dude, Logan's sister. She came to pick up this summer with Logan. She's really good. She's tiny, but
Yeah, that's like I was playing with her the other week, and she's so good. I'm just so much better.
yeah.
I'm like, she's better. She's probably much better than me. Just like I can beat her just because of
Yeah,
mine.
yeah. But she was very good.
What was it? Was the other
She's
girl
really
Hannah?
technical. She's very good.
Wasn't that
Hannah
the
is
other
like
girl?
insane.
Hannah's?
And if we get on 20 in here, like we're gonna be
If Anna tour,
She's
she's
the best player I've ever
absolutely
seen.
insane.
like the actually best player.
Anna tour.
Want to be in?
Where's she?
Or is it Roby?
Yeah, I think she was like, I think she was a mid-low.
Is Roby is mid-low or
Chesterfield.
Yeah.
Her and Finley are.
Yeah. I also love it.
Well, Logan's mom said there's a Marin. I remember him pick up. Her mom texted me. She's like, she really wants to come to Trinity. So hopefully she
And I'll
does.
talk to her.
But I think Logan will play. I mean,
Yeah, I think she will.
like I know she's good
She
at
wanted
track,
to
but I
run in
think
college.
yeah, and I think she could.
Because I saw them.
But that doesn't.
She definitely could. She's like insane.
She's just good cross.
Yeah, I was talking about.
Yeah, but she has a stress fracture in her foot anyway, so.
She could be injured.
Yeah.
I was talking to her mom when we were in Charlotte. So hopefully Mary will come in.
Yeah, and I mean, if she came next year, she and Logan would get to play for a year. Apparently, she has like 2 other really good friends at Seward who also play.
Obviously, goal.
Audra's a goalie. She's that was
Yeah, I mean, field hockey's doing the same thing. Like, yeah. I mean, field hockey has a senior goalie, but like an insane freshman, and like,
Oh yeah, Avery.
they'll work it out.
yeah. Audra's incredible. She would play out.
She's like crazy. Yeah.
She played kickers. She wants to play up on my team because our goalie like kind of.
Alright, so let's switch the half to.
Testing. All right, looks like we are back. So yeah, it was a great first half for Trinity. I think 5 goals in the first 12 minutes on the way to a 7-0 lead. A lot of different players got on the score sheet. Oliver Simpson had a couple. We had goals by Ben Mills, goal by Colin Flood, goal by Roman Gamino. I think
Seems like they have-
Nathan Holloway scored as well. So
they have their numbers back.
yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it looks like Coach Phillips is going back with a lineup that started the game, and back to the starting 11. And I'll be interested to see what the strategy is, because I'm sure he's given them some sort of, I don't think he's just out there like go score as many goals as you can. So it could be like have to complete a certain number of passes, or I just have a feeling he put some condition in to try and work on something. I said the starting 11, but there is one change. Sorry, it's Joe Turkley has replaced Mitchell Kugelman in the goal, and I think he already just got more action than Mitchell just by receiving the ball there. And Colin Flood staying onside. He was definitely on his half of midfield.
That's a good ball by Seth.
It is a good ball. Colin pulls it back, lays it off for Ben Mills, who missed it with the left foot. And Cristo Ray, coach, I think everyone here heard him yelling at his defense, "Why are we walking?" I mean, you did just have a 10-minute halftime, so I think he has a point.
Their number 14, is that 14?
Yeah.
He seems pretty good. He's
Yeah.
had some good tackles and some good touches.
He's directing traffic right now. Clock's running. Pretty good goal kick, almost out to midfield. And I thought that was a good tackle by Hayes Shepard, but they're going to call a foul on that one.
I feel like that could have gone either way.
And Cristo Ray's got it in a pretty good spot, about 25 yards from goal. Looks like Joe Turkley wants a wall from his defense. Nice little chip
Not a
to the
bad
back
ball.
post, but weren't quite on the same page. And Nathan Holloway will shield that one out for a goal kick. So all of our crew up here are freshmen. Are there any freshmen on this boys varsity team?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's a beautiful flick by Seth
There was a couple
Molesky.
last year.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
couple on JV too.
And Colin Flood with the
With
composure and the
goal.
left-footed goal. That's going to be Colin's second of the game.
I don't even think I've ever seen Colin Flood
Seth
miss a goal.
Molesky has at least 2 assists, if
Scored on
not
every shot
3.
he takes, he
It's a
makes.
nice header. Yeah, so we've got a lot of freshmen on the JV team.
Yeah.
That's good for the future.
Which is good for the future. It's not good for next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday when it's the freshman retreat.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have any games then?
are y'all getting to go on the freshman retreat?
Yeah, I'm
I
going.
can't.
Oh, that's too bad. But yeah, I'm just giving JV the week off, or not the whole week,
Yeah.
but those 3 days, because that's over half the team.
Yep.
All right, so that goal by Colin Flood made it 8. Wow, nice volley there by number 9 for the Royals, and Joe Turkley scoops it up. I think Mitchell's probably on the sideline watching, wishing that he got.
He got that much.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't even get to. I don't think he got to use his hands the entire first half. Joe with a left-footed punt. I guess he is left-footed. I don't remember that. Nicely brought down by Flood. Molesky, Mills, Bacon. Look at that passing. And Oliver Simpson's did a nice job holding
Nice
his
outside
run
of the
behind the
foot.
ball.
Wow.
I think
To
he was on.
Oliver.
That's a hat trick for Oliver. And
It's
another
a really
assist
good
for
assist by
Colin
Colin, yeah.
Flood.
Having Colin and Oliver up top seems really good for them. They're both
Yeah,
seem
just
like
seems
really
very-
Yeah.
natural goal
very key.
scorers.
Yes, they've got speed, and at least I've seen Colin Flood for years. He's an incredible finisher, but I've been really impressed with Oliver Simpson's
Mhm.
finishing
I've
and
too.
passing today. I think Oliver has 3 goals
It's
and 2
nice to have
assists.
more like Colin, who's a really experienced player, with somebody who's like their first year on varsity.
Yeah.
One of their first games on
Yeah,
varsity, who's
yeah.
a lower classman.
Exactly. Liam Smith hadn't gotten a ton of action today, or Davis Geis, but I think these defenders are going to see a lot more action on Friday, that Cape Henry game that we've been talking about. And just, their passing really is nice. I mean, regardless of the
Good move.
opponent, they've been he's off, Nathan
Yeah.
Holloway. We had a perfect angle on that one, but very few passes that have been turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could probably count on one hand the amount of bad passes that these Titans have had today.
Which is good when you're playing a team where you're leading to have all the
Yeah,
all or
and
most of the
having possession,
possession.
because right. I mean, you want to keep clean with it. You don't want to develop bad habits.
Yeah.
And no, they're doing a great job.
Yeah, and
This
even
is-
when the Trinity seems to lose the ball, like just a couple of times, they're very quick to get it back. And
Yeah. And Matthias Russi does a nice job bringing it down. I mean, they're also one thing. You guys keep an eye on this, but I'm thinking that maybe Coach Phillips put like a 3-touch limit. It looks like they're all
Yeah.
really looking to move the ball quickly. I mean, I don't think I've seen anyone take more than 3 touches, but that's
Yeah.
good. Like, that's a great thing to work on.
Yeah, making faster decisions.
Yeah, exactly. And
Keeps you on
that's
your
just-
toes.
keeping that speed of play is going to really benefit as the season progresses, and they see potentially some tougher opponents. Some subs coming in. We
Like
are
Jack
about 7 minutes into
Fanning
the second
and-
half.
looks like Seth Molesky comes out and.
Yeah, Davis Geis, Seth Molesky, Reed Bacon all coming out, as well as looks like Ben Mills is.
Looks like
Ben
Ben
just
Mills
switching
and yeah, they
sides.
switched.
Maybe Ben's just switching to the right, and Nathan Holloway switches to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like the Titans are now playing down just 1. I think they brought 3 guys on and took 4 guys off. Also, I want to give props to the Cristo Ray coaching staff. I mean, in a game like this, as a coach, it can be
It's hard,
It
yeah.
can be really frustrating. It can be hard. It's hot. But those coaches are continuing to really, at times challenge their players, at times praise their players, but they've not given up. They're still showing a lot of energy, and that's going to benefit them as the season progresses. It's a nice pass and look for a counterattack. And a little 2v1 here for the Royals. They might get a shot off. Fannin did well to step in. There is a player still down on the pitch, and ref's going to go ahead and stop it. It did. Speaking of the Cristo Ray coaches, continuing to work hard. I think they were working the officials because they wanted a foul when looked like Liam Smith maybe collided with the midfielder there. But from here, I thought it was a clean tackle. But
Yeah.
Anytime you see one of your players go to ground and coach is asking the AR over there, well, why wasn't that a foul? And we've all been there. All right, so I think that the Titans did play it out, but I think the ref blew his whistle just before that, so we'll play a drop ball. Matthias Russi did not for once have a good touch on that one, but Fannin bailed him out.
Is Fannin playing a center back position, or is he
It
still?
looks like he is, which again is not a position I think he's played a lot,
That's
Yeah.
a good game to try out.
it is a good game to try
Yeah.
out. Well, I could see him potentially having
Yeah, he's
like the
really
attributes you need as
strong.
center back. Yeah, he's strong. He's good in the air. He's poised on the ball. He's pretty physical, and he reads the game well. Which probably of
Great
everything,
ball.
that's the most important thing for a center back
Oh,
is reading the game well. And I would say timing tackles is a really important attribute for a center back.
Definitely.
You don't want to, when you miss time at that area of the field, you're giving up potentially a penalty
Goals.
kick or a goal. That was offsides as the Royals continue to try and work on their offside trap, and they caught the Titans there on that occasion. I see Fannin directing the back line, which again another good attribute for a center back to have that voice on the field. Nice header.
Good header by Matthias.
Matthias is so good in the air. And Titans continue to work it around. What a nice ball by Hayes Shepard. Got Nathan Holloway sneaking in here at the back post if Ben Mills can get it there. He looks for that exact ball, but overhit it a little, but Nathan does well to keep it in. Oliver said such a good game, but that was not a good pass there by Oliver Simpson, and the Royals look to counterattack, but Matthias Rusi steps in to stop the counter.
good
I
ball.
still think that they haven't taken more than 3 touches yet, any individual. It's a clever little chip ball by Hayes Shepard.
Oh, it's a nice move.
Hayes Shepard went for the spin, did not quite come off, but it fell nicely for Roma Gamino, whose shot is well saved by the Cristo Ray keeper. Actually, I bet you that for Trinity defending the side they are, that sun is probably a factor. Roma Gamino struggled to judge that header. And even the ref, I saw him just covering his eyes. I mean, this time of day, that sun's low in the sky. It can be tough. Good ball by Rusi. 1, 2. It's all just 2 and 3 touch.
It's a good clearance by Cristo Ray.
Look at that speed from Liam Smith, and then he plays it
Really
back to
good
his
recovery,
keeper,
yeah.
Joe Turkley. Good ball by Joe. This is all making me really psyched for Friday's game and the whole season for this boys team, because
Yeah, they're really playing like a team.
they really play well together. Oliver Simpson chooses not to shoot what could have been for his 4th goal and plays it out to Nathan Holloway. I also just think their pace, like, it's just crisp. Nice ball by Rusi. And good talk. He let Colin Flood know there's a man on. Cristo Ray guys continuing to battle and work hard.
Yeah, they came into the second half really strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's, these lessons of, like, fighting through some adversity.
You can really see their effort.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they've given up at all, which is hard to do.
It's
when
another move.
It
the
re-
results
it
are
is.
how
Good
they
shot.
are.
Hayes, that time the spin move worked for him, but the shot went a little bit over. And I've really been keeping track if we ever had more than 3 touches, and I think finally Oliver Simpson took a 4th touch there.
Yeah.
I say pull him out, coach. Trying to limit it to 3. I also want to give a shout out. I don't know how well this comes across on the stream, but this field is in immaculate condition. So shout out to the grounds crew. And doesn't this field just look inviting to
looks
play on?
amazing, Yeah.
And they fixed the PK spots. I remember those were all beat up during our
PKs.
season.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you this whole summer, they watered it, they seeded it. No one was on this field all summer.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that PK spot was a mess by the end of last spring. And you know whose fault it is? Neighborhood boys come up here on the weekends and destroy it. That's why now they've been
spots.
chaining the goals together every weekend, so people don't do that. Ooh, what a ball by Fannin. Roman
Good effort to keep it
Gamino
in.
not able to save it. All right, once again, Cristo Ray really taking their time with the goal kick.
And their player number 14, he has some pretty good goal kicks.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's definitely trying to lead, trying to direct traffic, and
He's doing
also
a
it's
good
probably
job.
nice to catch their breath a little bit because, as you guys know, like when another team possesses the way the
It's
Titans are
hard.
today, like it's tiring.
Yeah, I could tell they're doing a lot of chasing.
A lot of chasing. And I think the Titans took another player off, so it looks like it's 9v11 now by my count. Nice throw in by Reed Bacon. Big throw. Nathan Holloway. 4 touches, 5. Get him out, coach. 3-touch limit. Even though that ball on the switch there by Matthias Rusi went out of bounds, I'm so encouraged to see him using his right foot. Last year, never. He didn't touch it with his right foot. So you can tell that's something he's worked on and has confidence in.
That was pretty strong for his
Yeah, I mean,
weak foot, too.
he clearly has the power. It's just a matter of getting that
It's
confidence.
definitely good
Mhm.
to use in this game, like overuse it in this game.
Yeah.
Where it's not going to affect the result.
Exactly.
And if you do something bad in this game, it's not going to really affect you bad in the long run. It's
Yeah,
going to
because
benefit you, honestly.
that's the thing about confidence is it takes a long time sometimes to build it, but then once you have it, like one mistake shouldn't steal it from you.
Mhm.
That's what can be useful about games like where you're the stronger team
Yeah,
and
it's
have most of the possession. You get to try
huge
things that
confidence
you wouldn't
booster.
try in a game that's really close.
For sure. Joe Turkley read that well. Nice header by
header.
Roman Gamino. Another good header by Jack Fannin.
Trinity seems to be really good in the air.
Yeah, and I know that's kind of always been a trademark of teams from Coach Phillips is that they tend to be good in the air. I know
That makes a big difference.
it does. I watched them yesterday, a little bit of their practice, and that they were working on playing balls into the box with, like in a crowded area and going up and getting them. That's a nice ball. It's a smart idea by Nathan Holloway, and good job by the Royals defender to play it out for a throw.
The boys haven't. Do they do long throws? Is that just a thing? I've never seen it happen in a guys' game.
Yeah. I don't know if they would do it today, but like Reed Bacon, I mean, you just saw he threw it from there almost to the end
that was
line.
amazing.
I think that Reed has it in his arsenal, and the thing is, like on this field, because it is narrow, I mean,
Yeah.
you can like throw-ins can be like corners. We had somebody last year. I'm trying to remember who it was. It might have been one of the seniors, but like if we had a throw in like inside the 18, we did have someone who did a long throw. But I'm trying to remember. It might have been one of last year's seniors.
Well, I know for the girls, Allie definitely had very long throw. It was really beneficial for us in the box.
Yeah, and before Allie Placide, we had another Allie Moore who was there for 4 years, who also had a really long. So it's been like 8 straight years we've had at least one girl who had that, weapon, so I don't know who that's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what the problem is if you throw it in though.
I
Can't-
can't
you're not-
score. Yeah.
But certainly for like on this field, it's a great weapon to have.
It's much easier.
We definitely scored some goals off of Allie's
we
throws
did.
last year.
It was harder when we were at-
Oh, good save. Great job by the keeper. So
Yeah.
number 14 tried to head it back to the keeper. They were not quite on the same page, but he hustled big time to save that goal. And again, you're down 9-0. It would be easy to just be like whatever, but he dove.
Mhm.
You love to see it. Good job by Nathan Holloway. And I guess there hasn't been a dead ball for a couple minutes because I'm curious if they're going to do another water break as we pass the
Yeah.
halfway point of the second half now. Number 14 again with a strong clearance. Oliver, is it going to be time for number 4? He beats the keeper to the ball and then plays it back to Ben Mills. Roman Camino, just wide. It's a nice pass. Well, the whole series of passes was nice, but Ben Mills set Roman up really nicely there. I think they are going to take another water break. So while they're taking a water break, I know we still have about 19 minutes to go, so it's not over. But who are some players? First, I guess Katie, then Kat, who've really impressed you today?
I'd say definitely Oliver Simpson and Jack Fannin. Oliver being a sophomore and playing JV last year, and this being one of his first times on varsity, scoring 3 goals, having a couple assists.
Yeah.
And he just looks really confident.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I was going to he was the first name that leapt to my mind as well. Kat, how about you?
I'm going to have to say Oliver and Hayes. Hayes has been really strong in the midfield and good at switching the balls. And Oliver just obviously has a hat trick, I'm pretty sure, and just being a really strong player in the front line. So
yeah, I like the FC people sticking together. Hayes, a fellow FC Richmond player like yourself. I will be, as soon as this ends, heading over to take my daughter to her FC practice.
I gotta go to practice
and
too.
that's where I play too. So, you know, we got to sky blue, got to stick together.
And Colin Flood, shout out to him.
And
He's
Colin
always
Flood,
just, like, good though. So.
Keenan Muminovic.
Lots of FC people.
Yeah. But I think Matthias Rusi, I'm pretty sure, did play FC as well. But I
Does
think
he play
he's
kickers?
who plays kickers?
That might be
Oh,
wrong.
and Jack
I thought he
Cranston.
did.
Jack Cranston plays FC.
Yeah. No, but I was gonna say, yeah, I think those are all good. And that's obvious. I mean, of course, Colin Flood, of course, Seth Molesky. I mean, we know they're 2 of the most talented players, and we haven't gotten to see a lot of Davis Geist today. Just he hasn't been too challenged as a center back. But Davis, for me, is as important as anyone on this team. What he does, leading the defense, being strong. He's so strong in the air. He's great with his tackles. He's a really important player that kind of like you guys were talking about CC on the girls' side earlier. Davis is kind of like that guy for the boys. And I do see Davis loosening up, so he may get a chance to get back in. But he hasn't played much today, and even when he's been in, obviously since we've dominated possession and mostly been on the attack, he hasn't got much action. But to beat the best teams on the schedule, Davis, you'll see him step up, I'm sure. And I think the other key for this team is the play of the keepers. I mean, again, they haven't gotten tested a whole lot today, but the improvement that Mitchell Kugelman and Joe Turkley have made since the beginning of last fall is exceptional. And I give them a lot of credit. They've both been very committed. They both were out all summer at pickup. Not to mention they would come out and do extra sessions as well. But huge shout out to Coach Tyree. I mean, he has gotten those guys playing at a level that I'm not sure I thought they would ever get this good. So they haven't gotten to do a lot today, but with big games coming up, Coach Phillips mentioned to me, I think they have 4 games in the next 9 days. So obviously this one today, Cape Henry Friday, and then a couple of games next week as well against pretty tough teams. The keepers are going
And
to
being able to
be-
pass
be a
back to your
big
keeper
key.
is really important.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And, like,
think.
trusting them and knowing that they will take care of it, because it can be hard as a center back.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
also
Eh,
since the keepers aren't like really having to save much this game, it's it's a lot more beneficial to play back to them and just use them as much
Yeah,
as you can.
and it keeps them engaged as
Yeah.
well. And I know that Kate DeRocco, the girls keeper, she's also started training a couple days a week with the boys keepers as well. Like, I know she was out here yesterday working with Coach Tyree and Mitchell and Joe. So I think that's gonna be really good for her
Yeah, having
too.
the goalie really like connected to the team is really important.
It's huge.
Because sometimes it can almost be like the team plus a goalie instead of just a team with a goal.
Exactly. It looks like I mentioned earlier that the sun was a bit of a factor, and Joe Turkley seems to have put on a visor to help combat that sun.
Can you do
and-
that? Is that allowed?
You can do that. I mean, like it used to be a big thing where keepers would wear baseball caps to like try and block the sun. It's a lot rarer today. You don't see it that much. The visor from up here looks maybe hot pink.
I think it's the Pink Trinity one. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe for me clashes a little with the purple keeper kit, but you know, whatever.
It's a look.
Joe is on his fashion game today.
Definitely.
All right, well, looks like we're coming back out. About 18 minutes or so left. And Titans were at 7 in the first half, came out with 2 quick ones to start the second half, and they haven't scored in a while. I mean, I don't think scoring is the top
they've
priority
been
at this
doing
point.
really good with possession and limiting their touches and making fast choices.
Yeah, I'm sure that like Ben Gravely and Kenan Muminovic are bummed that they're not able to play today because I think they would be enjoying a game like this, fairly low stress, seeing a lot of the ball. All right, so as we come back out of this water break, Titans again playing with 7 field players just to try and give themselves a little bit of an extra challenge, show some sportsmanship. So that's good stuff like that. And they're switching some people's positions. It looks like Oliver Simpson, who we all have been impressed with today, is now playing, looks like right back. Liam Smith, who usually plays right back, looks to be up at like a right mid or right wing spot. Reed Bacon, who I've only ever known to play defense in his time at Trinity, looks like he's up at the left wing.
This is a good game to try
It
new
is.
things out.
It is. Well, Reed is really, really fast and has a
Yeah.
great left foot. So I actually
It's always good for wing.
I can see scenario where he could have a role to play as a wing, getting crosses in.
Yeah. Outside back and wing they're actually more similar than I thought they were, especially when you have most of the possession.
Yes.
As an outside back, you can go up more.
And using an outside back as like an attacker can be
And then
really
you have
beneficial.
another player in the box.
Yeah.
For sure.
usually,
That
in
like
addition.
my not now because I'm not fast anymore, but my favorite position of all the ones, and I played basically every position on the field, was as an outside back who would get forward, like that right back who could like get like whip crosses in, make overlapping runs.
Yeah, and those overlapping runs can be like lethal for a game.
Yeah, I just think that's it's a fun position. You get to defend, you get to run around a lot, but also I think you surprise other teams because at
Yep.
this level, a lot of times the outside backs don't do a lot offensively, and so teams aren't always prepared for that. But I think that like Reed could get involved in the attack, and I actually said he's always played defense at Trinity, but how could I forget his 9th grade year when he was on JV? He did play as like a left wing, and he scored several goals that year. Unfortunately, he got one of the worst concussions I've seen and didn't get to complete the season. But it's good to see him back.
Yeah.
That's a nice switch. Liam Smith right in stride. Well, maybe not in stride. Here comes Reed Bacon, who we talked about getting involved in the attack. Oh.
Ooh.
And Reed Bacon with the throw in. That's a nice ball by Davis Geis, who talked about hasn't gotten to see a lot of action today, but good shout by the keeper to call off his defender there. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, sorry. That all good sportsmanship there. Thought Davis knocked over number 12, and then he kind of knocked him back over. I thought for a second we might have a little chippiness, but then they shook hands, and it's all good. Oh, what a ball by Liam Smith to Reed Bacon, and that was finishing that reminded us why he plays defense. No, but Reed did well to get to actually win because it was like 4 white shirts around him, and he was able to get a shot off, but went just wide.
Jack Fannin had really good composure there.
Yeah. Well, the thing about a game like this, because if you give Jack time to get his head up, he is gonna pick you apart. And in this game where the Titans have a lot of possession, where they're able to move it quickly, spread the opponent out, it's tailor-made for his strengths.
Yeah, I could see Jack Fannin moving to midfield being really beneficial for Trinity this year.
I like him in the middle.
And he
I do too.
he always takes the right amount of touches, which is something a lot of people may struggle with. Is taking too many or not enough. And he always seems like he knows what to do and when to do it.
Well, Katie, to your credit, I feel like that's something, like even on the high school season last year, that you really improved as the season progressed, of just taking less touches. And that's one thing I've been talking a lot with the JV team about, is to make the pass or the shot or the switch or the clearance with as few touches as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you might
or
need
know
3.
when to take a lot of touches and when not to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there certainly are times to take that space or to go at a defender, you know. But I agree. I think Jack Fannin has great judgment of and he can take people on. I mean, I've seen that for years, but he doesn't force it. There's that speed that Reed Bacon has. Good job by the defenders closing him down. Number 14 went down holding his knee. That doesn't look good. I'm just hoping that maybe they just bang knees.
Yeah.
Because I think we all have felt like number 14 is probably one of, if not the strongest player for Cristo Rey, as you see his teammates rally around him. All right, he's getting up, which is a very good sign.
Good sign, yeah.
And able to put some weight on it. I think he is getting in the cart with Coach Hall, but I feel like that was a pretty good sign, though, that he got up. Glad to see that. Obviously, if you bang knees, it hurts, but the last thing you'd want to see in a 9-0 game is an injury. Well, you never want to see an injury, but like especially in a game where the outcome was decided over an hour ago. All right, it's going to be a goal kick. About 12 minutes to go. Once again, as I look at the monitor, it says 7, but I think we didn't stop our clock on our stream when they took the 5-minute water break. So probably more like 12 or so. Although the ref does have the discretion just to not add the time for the water break, which I think a lot of people here would probably be fine if he blew it a little bit early. Nice ball by Joe Turkley. That's something, speaking of his improvement, like he just cleared that ball well beyond midfield. He could not do that a year ago. He couldn't even get the ball to midfield. So that just shows the efforts he's been putting in with Coach Tyree and with Mitchell Kugelman, and it's good to see.
I could just tell the Trinity team put in like a lot of work this summer to really improve all around in every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
It's very obvious.
For sure. I mean, I played with him a ton at pickup this summer, and I love having him on my team. He's very fearless as a keeper. I think the one thing Joe still needs to work on is his talk from the back. He's a little quiet, but
Yeah.
Good steal there by the Royals. A rare turnover by Seth Molesky, but he wins it right back and plays it to Davis Geis. Nice switch by Davis. And Liam Smith, that's a
Good
little
ball.
chip by Jack. Keeper's on you. And
Oh.
Roman let him have it. I mean, let the keeper have the ball. Not let him have it. So one of the fans in attendance today is Liam's older brother, Declan, who was the girls' manager for 5 years. So it's good to see Declan in the house. Beloved. He was also the boys' soccer manager, too. So,
Yeah, I remember him coming out to a couple of games.
oh, what a shot
Good
by
finish.
Reed Bacon.
Good goal by
That'll
Reed.
show me to say he finishes like a defender. That was a great finish.
Yeah.
And that makes it 10. Definitely happy for Reed. I mean, of course, we don't want to run up the score, but again, another kid who stuck with it, worked hard.
It's a good game for people who don't usually score.
Yeah,
to
it's
get
exciting
goals.
when you're like.
Yeah,
play
I think
defense
that's
and
his
you
first
score.
varsity goal. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, that's exciting. Even if
And-
it's just like a game like this, like that's still really fun to
well,
score.
yeah, it can open the floodgates, you know.
Gives you
I
more
mean,
Maybe
Katie,
give
confidence.
him
yeah,
more
like-
confidence to
Yeah.
score.
You
in
saw
a
that
game
last year,
where
like
it's
when
more
you scored against St.
important.
Gertrude, like it was not a close game, but then like once you get that first goal under your belt,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what it feels like, and you know you can
I
do
scored
it.
for Tucker, I think, right?
Oh right, well that was a scrimmage,
Yeah.
but yeah, my apologies. Didn't mean
okay.
to short you that one. But actually, that has the same impact, even though.
Yeah.
But I was thinking in the official stats, but you're right. You
Yeah.
did score against Tucker. Another big ball by Joe Turkley. This one goes out of bounds, but still, just nice to see him trying and believing in himself that he can distribute, whether he goes short or long. Because last year everything was short, and smart teams would sniff that out and really press.
It's really good to have a variety, like have a goalie that is able to kick it far, and then have center backs that can take it short.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I think this team has that. I mean, I really think this team has everything that you could need, from a mix of experience and youth, a mix of skill and speed, defenders who are really strong, keepers who are much improved, finishers like
Good
Colin
defense.
Flood and Seth Molesky, and today Oliver Simpson.
yeah,
The only thing that worries me, I'll finish that thought after we see if Jack Fannin can get on the score sheet, and he does.
Good finish.
And that's another assist by Oliver Simpson, I believe. I think it was Oliver. No, maybe was that Oliver or Declan? I'm not sure.
It's
I mean,
number
Liam.
18. whoever
Liam,
that
sorry.
is.
Declan is his brother, who I was just talking about. That was Liam Smith. My
Liam,
bad.
yeah.
But what I was about to say is the only thing that scares me about this team is depth. You know, they've only got 14 guys in uniform today. So
and they have some injuries.
they got to get everybody healthy, and definitely cannot afford any
Another
more
injury.
injuries. But the starting 11 is probably as strong as we've had in a number of years, I think. Good throw by Joe Turkley. Ooh. All right, Ben Mills playing some defense. And from here, Oliver Simpson and Liam Smith look a lot alike out here, but that's Liam. Now he passes to Oliver. All right, so we're down to the last probably 7 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It's a question for you guys, because I believe this is the first time these guys have worn these new blue and white striped, or I call them hooped, uniforms. What do you guys think?
I love those.
I
Yeah.
honestly like them.
I definitely want those.
Yeah, I
for
definitely want new
us.
uniforms this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should be due for new uniforms.
I really like the blue more than the green,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really wanted a navy jersey. Like, it's just really like, I don't know.
especially because you
Simple.
wear your color home.
Yeah.
And the away team always wears white, so
Right.
you can have whatever color really.
Right. All right, we'll look into that. So you guys give thumbs up to the stripes.
I like the stripes.
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
do too.
producer Jack Stark also gives thumbs up to the stripes. The only thing is, I mean, it's good that we know who these guys are. I do think it's hard to read the numbers if it
Yeah,
was like
that is a
you
little
weren't
bit.
familiar with
Yeah.
the players. But we know our guys, so it's not that hard. But I know I
Yeah.
remember last year, Benedictine had not the same colors, but they
They
had
had the
stripes.
Green and white.
And it was when we had broadcast the Trinity Benedictine soccer game, I really struggled to read the Benedictine numbers.
I'm honestly just happy with any new uniforms.
Yes, Sam. I'd prefer navy over green.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it is interesting because like for girls soccer, for whatever reason, we've never had it. We've always only had green and white, but like some other sports,
I feel
like
like
basketball,
most
we always had
girls
navy.
Sports have green.
Yeah,
Because field hockey and
yeah.
lacrosse.
no, I like the blue. Blue and green stripes could be really cool with white numbers. Then you'd be able to see the numbers.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's
little
a
questionable.
stretch.
Veto. Okay. Well, I trust you all more on the fashion than I do myself.
So are there other uniforms just like plain white?
No, they're actually not. They have like a cross. They're mostly white, but with it's like one vertical stripe and one horizontal stripe. So they're not
That's
a bunch
cool.
of stripes like this, but they're
Or we
they're
could
pretty
go with
cool.
like a fun color like collegiate.
no thanks.
Yeah, I agree.
No.
I
School
kind of
color.
like the fun colors.
School.
That's
we're gonna
so
stick.
extra.
We're gonna stick with school colors. The goalies can have fun colors, like Joe. Rocking the purple.
And maybe a visor too.
Yeah.
Purple kit, pink visor. Jack Fannon's in behind the defense, and
Oh, just wide.
put that one wide. So we, if you've watched TESPN before, you know sometimes we do like a post-game wrap-up, but this game, as it is pretty lopsided, and I've got to get my daughter over to soccer practice. So as soon as it's over, we're going to go ahead and sign off. But I want to thank everyone who tuned in. This is our first broadcast this school year, not just soccer, but any sport. But definitely, if you liked this, plan on tuning in Friday for what should be a highly competitive game against a really good team from Virginia Beach, Cape Henry Collegiate, actually the team that knocked Trinity out of the tournament last year. Yeah, I think Roman Gamino just took a cleat to the knee.
Oh.
I don't think he's too
Yeah, I
hurt,
think-
but I think he's bleeding.
It's nice as a player to watch the streams just to see like what they were saying. Because sometimes as a player you
I
can't
love
see what
watching
the
Griffin
viewers
Wright.
see.
He'd hype me up.
Yeah, I'd love hearing them talk, like say what we did good, what was a weak
Yeah.
spot.
Well, for sure, and I'm sure these guys will all be watching this. So I guess this is like last call for any message to the boys that you know they'll probably be tuning in when they get home tonight. You guys got any messages?
No, I just think they played good.
Yeah, they did, and I think they handled like games like these are hard. You don't, when you scored 5
Yeah.
goals in the first 12 minutes, like you could get sloppy. I don't think they got sloppy.
they
you
kept the
Yeah,
like
you can play down to
intensity
the level, but I think they
same.
Yeah, they
just,
kept the
like-
intensity level, but without like completely
just
just
like, trying to,
embarrassing
like, yeah.
the opponent. And I think most important of all, you want to come out healthy, and it seems like everyone's good to go. Roman did just take a little cleat to the knee, but he's walking around. He's still out there. He's still fine. And this result is going to improve the Titans to 3-0 on this young season, with probably, I think at least on paper, their toughest test to come on Friday. And I've already been assured by Mrs. Flood that should be a big crowd on Friday, so that should be a really fun one heading into a holiday weekend. Are y'all back on Friday or?
Yeah. Can be.
Cool. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Cool. Well, and then also just one last thank you to our whole crew, from Matt Roberts, who manned the camera all day, to Reese Blanchard, who produced for most of the game, Jack Stark, who brought us home, your co-commentators, Kat Pope and Katie Verdery, and for all of us here at TESPN, thanks for tuning in. Check us out again on Friday. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff as the Titans host Cape Henry Collegiate. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.